Hello and welcome. In today's video, how many times the Tesla broke down? Has it passed the MOT? And how much tread depth has left on the tires? So let's do the intro and let's talk about it. Okay, so how many times has it broken down? Not in the sense that it broke down, it just something broke down on the car. We could still drive, we could still do everything in the car as it should be, but it just was a little bit of an inconvenience. So what has broken down? The tailgate. It didn't open, as you can see on the video over here. It just didn't open at all. Yeah, so we had to just lift it up manually to actually get it open. So not very good. I knew it's gonna be that strut. Potentially I could just replace it on my own, however well, it's under the warranty obviously, so why bother? So technician just came in, replaced it, perfect. Yeah, a few months later the button just stopped working for some reason. It just didn't do anything, it didn't make any sound, so we had to just basically use the app or just inside the car to actually open the tailgate. On the very last day of our warranty expiring, I've put the service through Tesla app and they just didn't have any problems to actually do the whole job on the warranty. So absolutely amazing. Technician came in, he replaced the button, also he replaced that strut as well, so that's second strut and the new button under the warranty. We didn't pay anything. Perfect. So now it works, still works, but if I would like to buy the strut, it's about like 50-60 pounds. The button is about there as well, so it's not too costly to be honest, and replacing it is fairly simple as long as you know it. You can use the Tesla website to actually see how to replace things. It is very detailed, so you won't have any problems as long as you have correct tools and a little bit of the skills as well. Let's move on. Okay, so MOT, has it passed? Yes it did. However, the warranty was running out, so I felt like I need to check the car before it goes out of the warranty. I didn't know that Tesla can do it and replace it, because it's sort of like you do it something that, you know, they will have to pay for it, and you know, it's extra work for them. So, you know, I wasn't sure if they're gonna do it. However, I found in the app something like vehicle check. I basically just put the service request for that, and I put the message that I want to check the suspension parts for the wear and tear basically, and if they can just replace it in the warranty. They said like, okay, that's fine, we can do it. I just paid over 360 pounds just for that health check. It is quite a lot of money, 360 pounds for service, and it's not like a proper service. It is just to health check. Yeah, they don't like, you know, replace anything. They just checking if everything works properly and things like that. So they just plug it in. There's quite a big list over there, so that's good. But they found quite a few things to replace with the suspension parts, which is amazing. So that should last for another year at least. That's great. I'm very happy about it, because when I calculated all the cost involved plus the parts and the work hours, then it turns out we saved about like 80 pounds, maybe 60-80 pounds on that, which is fine. I don't mind that, but as long as I know that the car is like in full working order, there's nothing wrong with it, that's great. Okay, perfect. Okay, so after that we just went for the MOT and it just passed flawlessly, which is amazing. That's what we wanted, because those parts might have come up on the MOT, so that's great. MOT done, 1 year more. Okay, obviously we had to pay car tax. Yes, we had to pay the car tax, unfortunately, for this year. This is the first year that we paid for this one. The last year we didn't pay anything, which is great. That was the first time ever that I didn't pay any tax for the car. That's good. It's 195 pounds. That is still better than the Skoda, because the Skoda that we had was about 310 pounds, I believe, or 305 pounds. So that is still cheaper than our Skoda, which is amazing. 100 pounds less. That's good. That's a lot of driving, charging at home. So perfect. The last thing, tires. Okay, so I've done all the checks and here are the results. Front offside tire 5.9, front near side tire 5.75, rear near side 4.98 and rear offside 5.16. Okay, to sum this up, I'm gonna do it the same thing as the last time. So here are the results for the front tires and from the back, and this is the tread depth after 800 miles. This is the tread depth after 2,500 miles, and this is the tread depth on average after 10,000 miles. So let's calculate how much tread depth has left for to still be legal. So after deducting the 1.6 millimeters at the front, there's still 4.2 millimeters tread depth left to the legal limit. At the rear is 3.4, and front tires should last another 42,000 miles and the rears should last another 22,000 miles. So if I do the rotation, the next time I will have to buy the brand new set of 4 tires is going to be after 32,000 miles. So I can drive for another 32,000 miles without worrying about replacing the tires. That's amazing. And let me tell you something here, because before we bought this car, I was actually worried about the tires. I would have to replace the tires after 10,000 miles or 15,000 miles, or after the first year of ownership I will have to replace the tires, and that's not the cheapest tires to buy because they cost 180 to 200 pounds and some even more. So for our budget, spending 800 pounds for the set of tires after the first year or after 1.5 years, that's a lot of money. So I was worried about that. However, it proves that even though it has a lot of power, even though it has a lot of torque, and even though it has a lot of weight, it doesn't consume the tires as much as some people might say. So the only thing that affects those tires is how heavy is your foot and how heavy is your foot on the brake as well, yeah, because braking consumes tires as well. If you have a heavy foot, you will use the tires much quicker, and that's how it is. With this car, it's easy to have that heavy foot because it is so good to accelerate. Yeah, so 4.2 seconds to 60, it is so amazing. It just continues going. And I understand that. However, if you drive normally, it's not an issue. So tires is not a worry, as long as you're not overusing the power and not overusing the torque. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
We've been moving way too hard. Model 3, Model 3, Model 3. Nearly 5K, baby, watch me breathe. Model 3, Model 3, Model 3. Crossed Euro clean, now I'm overseas. Model 3, Model 3, Model 3. Charge up quick and I'm back on the key. Model 3, Model 3, Model 3. 5,000 miles and it still looks sweet.